are live. We're live.
Oh, it's the Egertons. Welcome to the Egertons. You might be feeling it's the
This is
Egertons.
completely improv.
Hi guys, welcome to another edition of S.T.E.V.E, which stands for
Spending
Time with the Egertons virtually every day. So, as I heard Tom Booker describe when he was trying to describe this show on his own show, Good Morning, I Love You, he said it's spending time seeing the Egertons virtually every day, which actually
kind of makes sense.
Nice. It's pretty good, yeah.
But the people are spending time with us.
That's true. They are spending time with us. That's more than seeing us. It
took me so long to memorize what this one stood for, so
yeah.
no changes.
And I can see that Tara's been joining us today. She actually took my seat right there. But we don't have a sweet potato today. I noticed that.
Yeah, he's in my room. I left him there accidentally. I have a Zoom after this, and the people in my Zoom know him really well.
Yeah.
They've been here since the beginning for his journey.
Yeah.
Because it was a Thursday when you first got potato.
Yeah.
How many Zooms have you had today?
Okay, wait.
How many Zooms has a typical
some chocolate.
15-year-old had on a Thursday?
A busy Thursday.
Counting the one I'm about to have, but not counting this live stream I have had. I'm going to have
the family Zoom.
Oh, right. This day I will be having 8 Zooms.
8 Zooms is what. So let's say a month ago, how many Zooms would you have on a typical Thursday?
Oh, none.
None. From 0 to 8.
It's a lot of Zooms.
I do a lot of
0 to hero.
So most people aren't doing 8 Zooms a day, but I'm a community leader at my school.
Yeah.
And the community leaders had a meeting today, and then we also did a kind of school-wide activity today.
Yeah.
And then I also do a writing group thing outside of school. So it's just that I do a lot of
families.
And we have families.
Yeah.
So it's just that I do a lot of things outside of school.
Yeah, you're Zooming a lot.
Yeah.
Hi, Greg.
You're a super Zoomer.
Good to hear from Canada, Greg.
Super.
Huzzah to you. Huzzah is Canadian for hello.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
Dad does this thing where he says a fact, and then we say, really? And he goes, no.
I said, yeah. I don't do that.
Stupid.
No, it does not sound like me at all. Okay, it's time for some quick facts about stuff.
Big fact about stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
About stuff.
Me?
Yeah, do you want to talk about...
Arden, do you want to?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Dad was like, hey, Arden, you know what you should do? Name some facts about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. I don't know a lot of facts about them, but Dad was surprised I could name them all, so I'll do that.
Okay, and then can you show them your t-shirt, too?
Oh, yeah. It says Funkle.
Fun uncle.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Arden's the
So there's-
funkle of our family.
Catherine of Aragon.
Oh, can you do this? Name them and how they...
Died.
Well, how their marriage to Henry VIII ended.
That's
Okay.
Good.
So, Catherine of Aragon divorced. Anne Boleyn beheaded. Jane Seymour, she died after childbirth.
Oh.
Anne,
Better than dying before childbirth. That could be...
Okay. Anna of Cleves divorced. Catherine Howard beheaded. And Catherine Parr, he died. So Henry VIII died, and then she was
She noped out.
She there's no divorce there. No beheading.
No.
She's a survivor.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to give us one fact about each of the 6 wives of Henry VIII?
I can try.
All right.
Catherine
Catherine of Aragon.
Sorry. I almost knocked over my chocolate chips. I mean, chocolate chips. Woo!
I mean, why would you guys know it more?
Well, that potato's been a big part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but they were there to see me swaddle him.
Oh,
He's
that was
been through a
pretty
lot.
cute.
You
I said-
swaddled the... Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah.
You were there.
I send them pictures of him every day because I dress him up differently every day. Today he wore sunglasses.
You did?
Well,
I didn't even see that.
it was a sunny day, yes.
Fell off.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Catherine of Aragon. Fun fact about her. I guess...
I know one fact about her.
Okay, let's do
What's
any
the fact?
Yeah.
Fast facts.
Yeah, fast facts. Where did she go after she was sort of pushed into this divorce?
Oh, I think she went to a nunnery.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
got the rest of her life in a nunnery. Yeah.
Okay, Anne Boleyn so her sister had a baby, a son, with Henry VIII, and then he beheaded her sister, and he was like, "Marry me, I want a son," and
But
she
she-
was like, "No."
But he just had a son.
But
with
not.
her.
But it was out of wedlock.
Yeah, so he didn't count as like an heir, and she was like, "No, you beheaded my sister." Jane Seymour.
But he did. She did marry him.
No, she didn't. Anne Boleyn married him,
Oh yeah.
but Anne Boleyn's sister, who had the son, didn't marry him.
Oh.
Yeah, Jane Seymour. So she was a servant to King Henry VIII, and there was a high chance that she was the one who dealt with Anne Boleyn's body after she was beheaded. Anna of Cleves and Henry VIII were kind of friends, and then after the divorce, they were still kind of close and stuff. And like, she got one of his last wives' family's house because like he kind of like kicked his last wife's family's house. He gave her a house after they got divorced. They like stayed friends and stuff, which is sweet. Catherine Howard. Ooh, Catherine Howard.
Hey, Howard is here. And the
Was she
party
beheaded?
begun.
She was beheaded.
Yeah. Didn't she have an
Wait.
affair with a famous musician beforehand?
I don't know,
Hmm.
Where?
but
hold
she
on.
did cheat on Henry VIII. I think is why she. Was
Okay.
beheaded.
All right. What's the last one?
And then
Owen is commenting. Dad.
that's a different.
That's a different
last
one, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
okay,
last one.
Catherine Parr. So she had married two people before Henry VIII, and then she was in love with this guy, and she married them both for like, politics and stuff.
Mm.
And then she was in love with this guy, but then Henry VIII was like, "You're my wife now." And then after Henry VIII died, she went back to the guy she was in love with.
Whoa.
I also think that she was quite a feminist,
Wow.
which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's very cool. We got a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
First of all, I think Hanukkah is wondering about the sweet potato that lives in our house.
Yes, his name is Potate, but Dad calls him Tater,
Get your face.
but his name is Potate.
It's not Tater.
Potato.
Okay, that's
It's
good.
Potato.
And then Owen Ziegler,
Like pot 8.
whose mom Jennifer Ziegler writes some of our favorite books.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
all right, so who had the best dress? I think none of the four of us. I think
Be
you
the
mean.
potato. Potato had the best.
Oh,
dress.
who had the best dress between? Yeah, potato. I always think it was those 6 wives, but
Oh, I still think potato might have the best dress.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then Owen Ziegler also asks if all of Henry VIII's wives fought, who would win? Oh, that's easy.
Well, one of
Is it? Or are you basing this off of the musical?
I'm basing this off the musical.
Who do you think would win in the musical?
Anne of Cleves.
Anna of Cleves.
Anna of
Yeah,
Cleves.
probably.
Yeah.
So they wrote a musical. It's called Six. It's like a concert sort of thingy story
I
where
had
all the
All the wives.
got together and are like doing they're like a girl band.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's so
It's
good.
great.
If you
It
need
recently
new
opened on
music
Broadway,
to
but
listen to. It's so
It's
good.
really-
It's called Six. Imagine if the ex-wives of Henry VIII all formed their own. What's the girl band I'm thinking of?
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. Yeah, they become Spice Girls.
It's great.
Is it Scary Spice or like
Yeah,
Evil
it's scary.
Spice?
No,
or-
it's scary.
There's
scary
no evil Spice. Scary Spice.
Scary
there
Spice.
should be an evil spice.
Well, I
There
think
should- there should be
Sporty Spice.
There should be slightly gassy spice.
Baby Spice.
Sassy Spice.
Gassy.
There's Sporty
I would
Spice,
guess
Scary
Spice.
Spice, Baby Spice,
Posh Spice.
Posh
And
Spice.
Ginger Spice.
Oh, and Ginger Spice.
And
That's
Smurfette.
the only one
and
that-
Smurfette. No,
What?
that's not true. Amy Nyland is saying hello. Hi,
Hi,
Hi, Nylands. That's very sweet. Okay, let's see. That's one good amount of information. Oscar, what are you going to tell us about?
Oh, hold on. Put that down there and give me a second. I'm grabbing it.
We're eating
Ah,
chocolate chips because I said we should.
Grab a
Do you want chocolate chip, Mom?
Greg is sharing some information.
The Red Book.
What is the Red Book, Oscar?
Oh,
what just?
What did you do?
hang on.
I'm getting-
Dad didn't do this. His computer's Microsoft is trying to update.
Can,
Oh, God.
can I take that away? What do I do?
I don't
Click
know,
on-
can you
click on
just
Google.
Go back to where you were.
Oh.
Oh, cool. So we're
Wow.
still live.
How about that? Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Microsoft.
All right. So, Oscar, what are you sharing with us?
So it's called The Red Book. Here. It's a Red
Yeah.
Book. It's by C.G. Jung. Right? And basically, he did this thing that was like half meditation, half lucid dreaming, where he put himself into a trance of sorts, like a waking dream, and he wrote down all the things that happened in his dreams in this book. And and he knew he was dreaming, kind of, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he would ask everyone who was in his dream why they were there. And, like, it made for a really interesting book.
Yeah.
And it talks a lot about God and stuff like that. But it's really interesting. And
we found out some interesting stuff, too. Like, because Jung was, like, friends with Freud. He was kind of a famous guy. But his family didn't want this published.
I was going to mention that.
Go on, sorry.
Come on.
Oh, sorry. Go on. So
his family read it and realized if he published it, it would completely ruin him because it's pretty crazy. So they kept it a secret for 80 years.
Wow.
Until they finally published it.
That's practically as old as Dad.
Yeah, do you want to show it again? It's so cool. There's two different versions of this. There's one where Jung actually paints a lot of his dreams.
Yeah, this is the reader's edition.
Yeah, we don't have the one with. Are you gonna read anything from it? You want to read just like a line or two?
Sure.
You've been picking out some of your favorites.
Right. Hold on. I have some over here, I think.
It's a really weird, beautiful, bizarre book.
I underlined something over
Yeah. That's the Seussian version of it. Yes. The Jungian versus the Seussian.
Sorry, I can't.
No? Yeah? You want to just search for something?
What if we do the thing where, like, we ask it a question and then you go to a page? Okay.
Right.
So-
Do you want to explain that as? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, but basically, a lot of people like to do it with, like, the Bible or something, where they ask a question, flip to a random page, point their finger on it, and then, that's supposed to be the answer.
It's a magical answer, yeah.
I did that earlier, and it was weird.
It was dark.
Yeah.
My professor in college, my English professor, Abby Blum, her dog Emma would do that with the Leonard Maltin movie guide.
Oh.
Dog?
Yes. Her dog, she would get out the big guide, and so you'd ask, like, a question, or it would just be like your fortune.
Yeah.
And she would flip it, and you would pick where to stop, and then Emma would put her nose on one of the movie descriptions, and whatever that description was, that was your fortune.
Wow.
It was amazing.
We got to do that.
What's that?
Does anybody have any questions?
What's a question?
What is the question?
Is it like a yes or no question?
No, more open one.
It's more like a
Let's.
What will my wedding look like?
Oh yeah. What will Arden's wedding look
How about
like?
what will Arden's wedding be like?
Sure. What will Aaron's wedding?
What will Arden's
Okay.
wedding
All
be?
right.
Okay, go for it. Here we
From
go.
Jung's The Red Book.
Let's see. My pleasure was with for thinking and had a merry garden there.
Ooh, a garden. That's fun.
Yeah, a merry garden.
And
I like
pleasure.
Finish the
Why
rest
don't
sentence.
Surrounded by darkness and night.
Maybe I'll have a wedding during the night.
Anything else? Keep
I
going.
do
I
like
found
stars.
down to my pleasure, but
Ascended.
ascended to my love.
Wow. And then
I see Elijah
Oh.
above me.
Wow. You're Elijah.
I'm out of insulin.
Oh,
Oh.
that's exciting.
Well, that happens.
Could that be my part of Steve filling up an insulin cartridge?
Yeah, sure could be. Yeah.
Ooh.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll bring it over here.
Okay.
Life of a diabetic.
And I'll talk about the Titanic. So
And the Titanic. It
yes,
just sunk.
I know, right? So this is what today's April 16th,
Yes, it is.
2020. That means that
2020.
yesterday, 118 years ago, the Titanic sank.
118.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's a
That's
bunch of
almost as old as Titanic.
there's a bunch of fascinating things about the Titanic. I am, of course, like seeing a bunch of quarantine, of course, like COVID connections, along with like, here's a system that was bragging about being unsinkable, the best in the world, nothing could stop it, being the Titanic moving forward. And then of course, even when it hit the iceberg, even when water was coming in, there were people like, no, it's unsinkable, nothing can happen. And some of the crew members are like, yeah, of course get into the lifeboat, but just take a precaution, it's nothing. And of course, the classism in there, the third class being the lowest, was the majority of the people on the Titanic were definitely paying the highest cost because the system was not designed to take care of everybody. There wasn't enough, as famously known, enough lifeboats for everybody. This sounds very familiar to our current situation, I know. But here's a couple of interesting facts, or maybe just one kind of interesting story. So I'm going to bring this guy's picture up because I think you guys will dig this. Let's see if I can.
You're so digging this, Dad.
I know, isn't it exciting?
You're digging deep into this.
Okay, so this fella, let's see. There we go. Let's bring him up. Oh, here he comes. He's coming into. There he is.
There he is, man, hot.
Charles John Juan, I believe it is. Joan is how you pronounce his name. He was a baker on the Titanic, right? And this guy was, I think, oh, there he is, fading away. Oh, he's coming back in. Oh,
you always do.
I know, it's so cool. Look at that. Anyway, super cool guy. So he was off duty when he felt like, oh my gosh, tremor, we hit something. And then he figured out what was happening. So he got the people who were working under him, was like, send up some bread and some water to people getting on those lifeboats. He did that. And then he went up himself and he was helping getting women and children and other people onto the lifeboats. He went down to third class while other people, like other crew members, like keep them down there. But he went down there and was like bringing them up, like sometimes just throwing people onto the lifeboats.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. And although he had an assigned job to be on one of the lifeboats, like you're captain of lifeboat 10, he loaded up to lifeboat 10. He saw that there were already 2 sailors on board. He said, you don't need me. Give my seat up to somebody else. I'm staying on board. So he gave his seat up. That was how heroic he was. He had heard that one of the doctors, like one of the ship's doctors said, listen, if you're staying on board, the best thing you can do is drink a lot, and then it'll be over quickly. And so he actually went back to his room, googly, had a bit of whiskey, and he was still on board. And then he was having a drink, and at some point he saw one of the doctors. Anyway, he was on board when the Titanic split apart, cracked, and then he was sort of running
and that's
up.
when Spider-Man started pulling it back together.
That'd be amazing. Instead, what he did is he ran up the back of the boats, right, up the stern, as everyone else was sort of doing too. And remember, if you've seen it, remember the movie, the boat at the end was like, went straight. Right. Spoiler, the Titanic sinks. Sorry, Oscar. Yeah, spoiler for the movie. So he crawled on the opposite side of it, as you might remember some of the characters in the Titanic movie doing.
Okay, stop.
Anyway, he's crawled on the top, and then as the stern sank down, almost like vertically down into the water, he was at the very top. And he was the last survivor to just leave the Titanic because the Titanic went under and he just stepped off. According to him, he barely got the top of his head wet. He was eventually.
Jeez, that's so freaky.
Wait, what do you mean according to him?
Because he told the story. Like
he survived?
He survived.
Oh my God.
He basically, the Titanic was going down. He just the front part had already broken off. And so to show you, the Titanic's sinking down. This is the front. The front's going down, right? And then it goes under and it breaks off. Boom. Then the back part goes like this, straight up.
That's a good sound effects.
The front part starts going down. It starts to get pulled down, but then everyone's on board. But you imagine you're like this, like So he crawled onto the top, the back railings back there, and he was like, "Oh my God!" and very drunk at this point. He was very drunk, as the doctor had told him to be. And as it went down, he just stepped off, and then. His hair,
step on too.
Just the water. He just stepped into the water, and he said, "I barely got the top of my head wet," and he survived. He survived the Titanic.
Wait, how did he survive?
He was in the water. He started swimming, and then one of the collapsible lifeboats, collapsible lifeboat B.
See, that's the detail you missed, Tom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he eventually gets pulled out.
He got on a lifeboat.
Yes, but isn't that wild?
Wait, Dad.
Yes. Yeah.
Did he step into the water? Or onto the water.
He does.
Second coming of Christ.
Right. Well, his initials do have John Charles. It was Charles John, but JC, see, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Anybody?
God.
Well, anyway,
Superstar.
according to Paul Beck, his hat saved him, which I don't, that's not, let's see,
I mean, let's find that picture again.
yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah.
right.
Completely possible.
You're completely possible that his hat saved him. We don't know.
I mean, look, that's why he didn't get his head wet.
But look what a good-looking man and a beautiful mustache.
Oh God! Oh, it's horrible! It's horrible!
It's
He's
just
not my type.
not your type.
Yeah, no.
Earlier you called him hot.
Well, yes, but that was for
Comedy.
Anyway, a great story of heroics.
That's a great story.
And I know, isn't it a beautiful story? And in James Cameron Titanic, actually, the character has a cameo, so you can actually see him in his baker's garb in the film if you look.
Wow.
Okay, time to give me insulin because of my pump.
Okay.
Okay, so Arden type 1 diabetes.
Yes,
and
I do.
She uses this insulin pump, which
Yes, I do.
is one of the most valuable pieces of equipment and the most expensive in our house. The other one being Owen's.
Mine's better.
The Arden's it's better, but ours is the tandem t:slim X2. And yeah, it is. I think by far, I think it's worth more than our cars,
Yep.
any of our
Because
electronics.
it keeps me alive.
Yeah, but also just literally, it's actually
Oh, yeah,
worth more.
that's true.
Okay,
I'm coming to the
so
side of
you fill it up with insulin every 3 days. And the nice
Approximately.
thing about it is that it means you're not giving yourself shots all the time. You
Which
just,
sucked.
yeah. So you just you put in how much insulin you need, or it knows every few minutes, gives you a little tiny bit, and it goes through this tubing and right into your body. So
This is the tubing. I've already taken it off. It has the cartridge, but I already took it off.
and you have a little site that's on your body, and so every 3 days you have to put a new one on. So there's one injection that happens, but instead of it being like 7 times a day.
But it does kind of hurt more. But
It
it's
does hurt
worth
more.
it.
But it is amazing because
It's amazing technology.
It's amazing
It's
technology, and we've and my brother's diabetic, and I've been diabetic for 17 years.
I've been
And-
diabetic for like 3
3
years.
years.
Yeah, so we've lived through a bunch of different technology,
I have.
but it's been amazing. When we first started, I was giving myself shots, up to 10 a day, and now we're doing these
There you
pumps, and that's pretty fantastic. So
That's fantastic.
This is a brand new bottle of insulin, which is
Ooh,
one of the
is it
most
cold?
valuable liquids on the planet. It is
Yeah.
cold. I'm sorry.
I don't like
Um,
cold. It hurts to have cold insulin, so we'll probably wait to actually put the site in until the insulin can warm up.
Yeah.
But by the way, since you need this
this
to survive, wouldn't it be a good thing if pharmaceutical companies charge an enormous amount of money because there's no way you can live without it?
Yeah,
and plus,
just
like,
like all other meds.
Also, like how when it was invented 100 years ago, the guy who invented it sold the patent for $1 because he
Yeah.
didn't want people to make money off of it because he thought it should be available to anybody with type 1 diabetes.
And
To
And-
save their lives.
and-
So,
Tampons, they should
Well,
be free.
also, tampons
should be free
Sure,
too.
thank
I think
you.
that's
Yes.
yeah. But we're
Um,
big believers that insulin should not.
All medicine.
all necessary
Yeah.
meds
Mm.
should
All
be
necessary.
super cheap. If
Yes.
not free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, insulin is a problem.
Yeah, insulin.
We are
It's
very lucky. We have
expensive.
great insurance,
Thanks,
and it does
Dad.
not cost us too much.
The
but
insurance is because of
our thing says when I pick up the insulin, it says your insurance saved you $1,975. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because there are a
For
lot
like
of
few
people.
vials.
little
Okay,
vials.
so step 1 is I put together a needle. I put together a
Oh yeah, there's a
syringe.
needle. So if you don't like needles, maybe.
But this is
stop.
not going into anybody's body. This
No.
one is just going into the insulin.
Yeah.
And then you fill it up with air.
I seen the needle and the damage
You fill
done.
it. Okay, you fill it with air to take out the insulin, so that it's like the same amount of.
Yeah, so you fill the vial with
Mm.
air.
Diabetic and everyone.
Oh, you're gonna give me a headache. I
Oh,
can see it happening.
oh.
You try and get the air
Oh,
bubbles
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
But
'cause air
unlike
bubbles-
in the air bubbles just are annoying because it gives you less insulin, but you can't actually hurt yourself like you can if you like inject air bubbles into your body. Like
Yeah, it's a fun way
It's
to murder
not-
someone.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not.
I'm
murdering
looking
you.
at you guys next to me,
All
and
right.
I'm so much more pale than you guys.
So we
That's a
fill
good
up.
point.
We fill up our syringe with this liquid
Don't
gold.
find it on Dad's computer.
There's no priming of this.
Oh, it's not
Then we
finding
open up
it?
a fresh cartridge. We go through a lot of plastic in our house.
Yes.
But we made art out of it.
Yes, I did make
That's
some art, out of it,
true.
but that was for my 6-month anniversary.
Yeah.
I didn't even get through all my
Yeah,
supplies.
I'm grateful for the plastic that goes into making this. I think we should use most plastic in general, not use. We should stop using most plastic in general, but I'm grateful for this.
No,
And when
that
we
is
get the
private.
air
We'll just-
bubbles, we're taking the air bubble out of the new cartridge. We're checking, make sure we still have enough insulin there. Yes, we do.
By the way, this is not happening on HBO right now.
That's right. Nobody's.
You're not seeing this happening on Netflix. This
Yeah, take that.
this is
Disney
cool. This
Plus.
is TV right here. Yeah,
Steady.
Disney Plus.
All right.
Ugh.
They CGI out the
Lost
diabetics.
All right.
Yeah.
So I filled up a new
Me
cartridge.
too.
I
Those are
capped
jerks.
and take apart the syringe, and now we're gonna actually fill up the pump.
While this beepy thingy is happening,
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about a cool diabetic that I know
Do it.
of but don't personally know.
Do it.
Her name is Caitlin
No,
Canunnick.
that's a great choice.
So there's this musical that recently closed on Broadway. It was a really good musical, but it didn't last as long as it should, and it was totally robbed at the Tonys because it didn't win any Tonys. But it's a great musical. It's called The Prom. It's about
amazing.
a girl.
The Prom.
The Prom. It's about a girl from Indiana who isn't allowed to go to the prom with her girlfriend. So her closeted girlfriend. So these like 4 Broadway actors come and try and save the day, and it's hilarious and sweet, and we all cried at intermission. It was amazing.
So good.
And the main actress who plays the character Emma, her name is Caitlin Canunnick, and she's a diabetic. She's a type 1 diabetic. She has the same setup as me, I think, right?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. She's really cool, and like we read a whole little article about like what she does backstage, and like different like tech crew people have like the Dexcom app, which tells people you can attach to a specific Dexcom and it'll tell you what people's blood sugars are. So like mom and dad know what my blood sugar is most of the time, unless I get disconnected from it in some
Did
way.
she wear the supplies on stage?
I don't think she wore her pump, but I think you can't really take off your CGM like for just a
She might be
couple
wearing a pump.
hours. She
Mhm.
could be wearing a pump.
But yeah, she definitely has her
mhm.
continuous glucose monitor, and so
Yeah.
she'd like come off stage, and someone would be like, "She'd be like, what's my blood sugar?" And they'd be like, 128.
Mhm.
And they would hide. They'd
Yeah,
hide-
they hide little like fruit gummies around the set.
So like when she was on stage,
Mhm.
if her blood sugar was tanking, which sometimes happens with diabetics,
Yeah.
she can go, well, I've got to open the drawer and eat a gummy bear. A
No.
gummy bear.
No, that's not even the type of music.
Oh, sugar, 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 sugar.
But she's really cool, and I love her. And sadly, the prom closed, and everyone should listen to it. And there's a movie being made about it.
That's right. Produced by.
Ryan
And
Reynolds.
Arden,
That's
don't
right.
you love
And it
how
has
it's
Andrew
cast?
Reynolds in it.
That's true.
And
I
don't you
love
love-
Andrew Reynolds.
And don't you love how it's cast?
I had some interesting thoughts about some of the casting. They were considering casting Ariana Grande
Mhm.
for the closeted girlfriend's role, who's Alyssa Green.
Yeah.
I disagreed with this.
Oh.
I don't think that Ariana Grande has the right voice for Broadway, and though she did do work on Broadway in the past, it's been a really long time,
Mhm.
and it's also just like I just don't think she was right for the role, and I think they were casting her because they needed more big names, and they cast this movie with a lot of big names to bring in a lot of musical theater people who aren't really into musical theater.
So
to
who is going to be casting it? Like who do you know who's been cast?
Okay, so James Corden's going to be playing this like main gay guy, which is fun.
Really?
Cast as main gay guy? That's good.
Well, yeah.
Is
Well,
he Barry?
yeah.
He's
I'm not saying
Barry.
names because I'm assuming people don't know.
Sure.
And then there's this like Broadway actress who's won a ton of Tonys, and she's gonna be played by Meryl Streep.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
and
pretty
then
great.
The other casting that I know and remember the names and I recognize is this guy who is kind of like another guy from Broadway, and he's being played by Andrew Reynolds, which is really exciting. And though it's different from the casting I would do, seeing as I would just film it live on stage. I'm hoping that it's really good.
That's
Yeah,
great.
same. Okay, the insulin pump is now full of insulin.
We're gonna
if this
wait
were
a
a
bit.
normal situation, we would then pop this crazy thing and it would slam a needle and stick a new insulin site into Arden's belly, but
But
we're
the
not going to
insulin
do
is
that.
cold.
We'll do
so we're
that.
gonna do it in a
We'll do
bit.
that.
Also, we don't need to do that live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't.
By the way, Panica has an interesting thing that I didn't know about. Maybe, but it was saying that Oscar that Panica appreciates you wanting to make tampons free. But let's start by getting rid of the tampon tax.
Yeah.
What is the
What?
tampon tax?
Well, is someone
Like-
gonna-
Yeah, I don't know. I would figure that Mom
I'm not
Arden.
gonna explain it well.
Oh, okay.
Mom should try and explain.
Well, Mom's. Yeah.
I'm not a person who's
Is there a tax like a sales tax?
tampons, so
Sanitary
This like a sanitary, like just a
Yeah.
sales tax? Oh my gosh! Wow, how about that? And Greg's making a pump the jam, but since jam is very high in sugar, it's really inappropriate to say that to a
I like
diabetic
jam.
Greg. No, I'm sorry, Greg. That's
Well, we just filled up the insulin pump.
Here's a
and
fun
Yeah,
stereotype about diabetics that dad is supporting but isn't true. Diabetics, type 1 diabetics, can have all the sugar they want as long as they dose for it.
That's true.
They didn't get diabetes from eating a ton of sugar.
That's true.
Exactly.
And that's usually not true for type 2 diabetics either.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, like, fun
It's
fact.
really annoying when kids at school are like, "Oh, if you eat too much, you get diabetes."
No.
That's the noise that they make.
I'm learning this. Look, period
Weird.
products are not tax exempt.
Yeah.
Except for Midol. Midol is tax exempt.
Which is funny because Midol is just
Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Just ibuprofen. How about that? Wow, we have learned so much. So let's just review because we're coming to the end now. What
a lot of stuff. Today.
We've had like so all four of us have to say something that they learned today that it was not one of the facts that
I'm
they
late.
shared.
Bye.
Oh.
She's going to writing group.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna have to put a new
Oh,
sign
yeah,
on you.
sure.
It's always scary when we've just been talking about periods when Arden says I'm late. That Okay.
Womp, womp.
Womp, womp. Okay, I learned that there's a tax on tampons. I did not know that. Many items that are made for women
That's true.
are also more costly than the equivalent for men product.
Yeah, and they don't work as well too.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I've heard
Lady
about that.
razors.
Lady razors is one.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
and that's exactly what Anne was saying. Pink razor and blue razor.
Pink
Remember
razors and
when
blue
we
razors.
saw that list of like unnecessarily sexed
Yeah.
products?
Yes, like the lady pens.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
there was like lady pens that were just pink.
Yeah.
And Panda was saying the pockets, the whole pocket.
Oh God, pockets.
Yes. I, as a person who goes to Goodwill and often comes home with women's jeans because they just like make my ass look great.
I mean, he's not lying.
He's not lying.
Yeah, but the pockets are never quite the right size.
You can't fit all the things in your pockets.
Mhm. My goodness. Okay, so that's what I learned. What? Oscar,
Okay,
Oh,
Oscar,
me?
you learned something?
I learned about that chef guy.
Yeah, pretty wild story,
Wait,
huh?
did you say it
Oh,
had
that
to be
was
not
good.
one of the facts?
No, that's good. Should we look at him again?
Sure.
Let's look at him again.
And I learned that the people on the Titanic were like, get drunk!
Well, that's what this one doctor had sort of said. Like, just drink yourself to a stupor, go deep into the Titanic because it's going to be hard going down. But it seems like, I don't know exactly how, but somehow some people say like the alcohol kind of helped this guy when he fell into the cold, cold water. But again, one of the survivors and probably the last survivor to leave the Titanic.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Charles John.
Imagine having that
Johan.
title.
Johan.
The last person to leave the Titanic.
Yeah.
Last
Pretty
survivor
crazy.
to leave the Titanic.
Yes.
I learned that I should remain mildly intoxicated in case we suddenly fall into the water.
Maybe that's why we always wear our hats.
Maybe
Sorry,
so.
that's a like Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh,
I thought
Yeah.
that sounded familiar.
There we
Yeah,
go.
so I'm gonna get some more wine in a minute because I feel
It's basically saying
a shipwreck coming.
could be 118 years ago yesterday.
Yeah.
Big news.
Mm-hmm.
Big news.
Big news.
Oh, and earlier I had said I made all the comparisons of like how now with that the iceberg wasn't the flaws in the Titanic. It's classism, it's racism, it's lack of preparation. Read healthcare here for those most in need. Their
Wait,
lifeboats are
hold
healthcare.
on. This sounds familiar.
It's totally familiar to our current situation, but also that tragedy. The iceberg wasn't at fault. It was everything that was in the Titanic that was at fault. But
I mean, the captain wasn't paying attention.
well, the captain actually heard all these warnings
Exactly. He wasn't paying attention.
and ignored the warnings. You might say ignored science. Kept saying our ship's unsinkable, no problem.
Yeah.
Like a miracle,
Oh,
those icebergs
global
would just go
warming
away.
isn't real.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me. Global warming isn't real.
But
I'm the one who has the
Mhm.
most power. That's probably what the captain said.
stuff a little bit similar to that. But what was really interesting was that after the Titanic tragedy, it did shine a light. I'm like, oh my gosh, you really need to be preparing for everyone on board, not just the first class. You need to have strict rules about listening to science about the warnings that are things coming your way. We need to make really preparations for this. And because of that, countless other ships had enough lifeboats, had enough systems in preparation for this situations. So countless lives were saved because that tragedy woke up a lot of people. So, you know, maybe in the current situation, a lot of the world, a lot of our states will wake up and properly prepare our systems so that classism, healthcare, and our whole system is set up more to take care of everyone, not just the few.
Yeah. Well, we're not saying Corona is good. Just getting very clear about that.
Yeah.
But you want to know a fun fact?
What's that?
There are more planes in the ocean than ships and submarines in the sky.
There's more planes
really dark.
In the ocean.
In the ocean.
Than ships and submarines in the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
That's good fact, Oscar. That's
Wow.
good fact. Thank you.
Thanks.
Think about it.
Thank you. I will think about that. I think are we about out of time? I think we are.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we're
it's late. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yay.
Yeah, should we just hum our way out?
Join us tomorrow.
Say humming. That's not humming.
It's humming with my mouth.